Okay, so today's lesson is going to be about understanding circular movements versus like the traditional like straight lines or angles and so forth, and then really putting them together in your training versus like when you play. Okay, so circular movements, that's essentially what we teach. Okay, so everything that you do is going to be working in a circle, whether it could be, you know, the swing plane going around and around or up and up. It doesn't really matter. It's working in a circle, as we all know, or we should know in general. We look at the club a lot of times. Sometimes we don't, but you know, a lot of times we look at the club as working more in a circle as far as plane-wise. But the way people look at it, it typically is they look at it as a straight line and a straight line. Whereas when you look at it as a circle, you're going to be using more, your brain will start thinking more like energy and moving energy versus like hitting certain points, stopping at certain points and going again, you know, exiting and all that stuff. It's more if you think of a circle, you think of motion. So I've heard a lot of really good instructors talk about it, and they're right that, you know, impact's not a position, and I don't disagree with that. It's a motion. The whole swing's a motion. Sometimes we work positions to build motion and so forth, but in general, when you play your best golf and you talk into a 10 handicapper tour to a you know, a major tour winner, they're going to talk about, you know, the golf swing felt like it was a natural motion and nothing was you know, impaired. So the way we do that, so in training, how can we make our motion, how can we make our training take over when we play, you know, where it's an automatic motion versus this, you know, swing thoughts or straight lines and so forth. So in Tai Chi, one of the first movements you'll learn in your warm-ups, if you go to a really good facility and you train, you're going to learn how to work in a circle. And this is a really good movement. So you basically work around your core, the diameter of your core. You put your, I like to do it where you can feel it first. You put your palm, or excuse me, your thumb, your lead thumb of your left hand, and you work like a backswing to the right. You sink, you circle, and then you just work in a circle. So your whole body's learning to work in a circle. Instead of, this would be incorrect. This would be incorrect. You see I'm keeping my posture. So when I do this exercise, why Tai Chi is so good, you know, you're working around your center of your head, and your head's stable, controlling posture, and then you just learn how to work into a circle. And we're not going to go into all kinds of training and all that today, but here's the concept that you're working into a circle. Now, one of the things I like even in Tai Chi is the way we teach it for sure is like when you go back, you're very light, almost like you're standing up, maybe a slight knee flex, but standing up. And then all of a sudden, as you reach right to the ending point, you start to sink. So it would look like this. Sinking would be pushing your butt back a little bit. In Tai Chi, you would not do that. But when our golf swing, we will engage the butt a little bit. So we'll go here, there, and then circle. So it goes, you're staying what we call neutral energy here. You engage that energy. This hand will drop. It just follows the diameter of your core. And you stay low here. So once you engage and your hips drop levels, they change levels. So if I go here, they change levels. That remains low across here. And it remains deep. What we call deep would be back, butt back. Okay, so this would be butt forward, butt back. I'm not going to get into biomechanical terms and all that. If you don't like the terminology, that's just, you know, don't worry about it. So anyway, you go here. This is what it looked like. And then this stays deep as you're making this circular movement. And then we rotate. Now we don't want to over twist here. We don't want to straighten the lead leg. We just want to work. And when we feel that motion, that would be our grip alignment point, we would start again. Okay? So learn how to work in a circle. Okay? That can also work away from you like this. Okay? And that would look like this. So it could be, you don't have to take the arms away. That's just to exaggerate the feeling of the circle. The arms could work in like our golf swing in here, but constantly circles. Okay? Now, why do we do that versus the straight lines? Because here's the reason, and I think most of you golfers that are on YouTube and obviously train with us, you understand, but I think you'll get this, is that when you think straight lines, so what we see is, you know, in the golf instruction world and what people are working on is we see straight lines. People working on trying to create angles and straight lines and this right here. So they create really good angles, but they don't have really good flow or energy. Okay, and there's you want to understand the difference between the straight line training versus circular training. Okay, so circular training, you would be working more here. So I'm working my body in a circle. Okay, so everything is working like this. So my training, even if I go straight back, that could be a really small circle. Everything is a circular action. The shaft is working circular, the body's working circular, and they continue to move circular through the shop. So that's the training. Now, when you work the straight line, what happens is people get steep energy. Whether the club, what we call it, would be, like we consider that that's on plane, they're working straight line, so they're working on this, which creates arm energy. So if you're here, even if the body's moving, they're working the club. Even if they're holding the angle, they're working what we call arm energy. Arm energy is obviously probably the most powerful energy that you have. I would say it is the most powerful energy that you have. But it's like hitting in fourth gear in your car, starting your car and hitting fourth gear first before going into first, second, third, fourth, and then fifth. And what I mean by that is, so if we work in a circular pattern, now we're using our whole body, our hips, our shoulders, our arm, and then our club head to get the power in a, what we consider, technical terms, a kinetic link, or we call it wave energy in Tai Chi, which is a wave energy. So you get that waving and then that popping energy. Same thing if you ever watch breakdancers, they use that, they call it the wave, you know. It's this wave like this. So it's like a couple analogies I like to use for wave energy so you understand the power of it. Is like an elephant's trunk, goes up, slams down, tremendous power. Okay? A wave, the reason why we call it wave energy is because if you take a wave and you're at the beach and you're watching a wave come in, or you're in the water and you're watching a wave come in, the wave will come up to its peak, not very fast, I mean it can, but it'll come up to its peak like this, and then all of a sudden when it gets in transition and it starts to roll over, which for us would be here, it rolls over like this, creating a circular form, but it turns into, it's slow when it does it, so it slows down. And then what happens is it collects momentum, and then the torque turns into speed through the impact, and that's where you get that blast and that explosion. So we call it wave energy. So everything that we teach is wave energy and circular rotation. Okay? So, what you doing, Cheyenne? Okay. So, going back to this. So, working on straight lines creates arm energy. Even if you're working your body, the arms don't want to, the coordination is not there. And the angles, the problem with this is the angles on video can look really good. Okay? But it's a steep energy versus steep swing plane. Okay? And email me if you don't understand what that means, and I'll certainly try to help you out the best that I can understand that. Okay? When you work in circles, in training especially, then you're working everything, you have that slow down effect, you have that wave energy, okay, so you have this wave energy and so forth that you're creating. And you notice it doesn't have to be violent, and it shouldn't be violent. There's this wave energy, and all of a sudden when you throw it, whew, that's where you'll see, you know, the Roy McIlroys, the Dustin Johnsons, where they catch the wave energy, and then they throw that, and that's where you see what we call in Tai Chi, fa jing, whipping action. So as we go build the wave motion or the wave energy up here, we have the slow down effect, we circle, everything circles, and then we can create that shearing, whipping force. Splitting energy is what we also, another way we call that splitting energy in Tai Chi. So it's like, we'll do drills like this where you can feel the split of the energy. Okay, so it goes here, soft. This really protects the back. Obviously, the center of the spine is good. And then we'll do drills like that, where you can feel that from where it goes from torque, where it's unwinding here. That goes from torque into speed, flash speed. Okay. This motion can also stay fairly slow when you use wave energy. So when you go and you work circular energy, you'll see players like Dustin Johnson, Ernie Els, Fred Couples, and so forth, where they don't really look like they gain a lot of speed, but they're just using torque. And they just continue that torque, and then the momentum of the club will create the power itself. So you don't really see the body, create that whipping speed. Because if the harder you whip with your hips and so forth, the more you have to stabilize for your timing with the hands. Okay. But I hope that helps you understand of what we're trying to do, circular versus straight line. Now, when you play golf, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to swing in a circle? Or are you trying to swing in a straight line? The truth is, when you train, you're trying to work, circles like we're talking about, and so forth, like this. When you swing, you're just going to turn back and turn through. I mean, it's as simple as that. So it's not like you're trying to think straight line, but really all you're trying to do is turn right and turn left. And what will happen is your body, through the training of circular movements, will turn, it'll be there. So it's not like it's a swing thought. So I don't want you to go out and try to create this in your golf swing. I mean, you can. I mean, one of the best ones in the world. I mean, they all do it. But like Bubba Watson, Rory McIlroy, Adam Scott, or Tiger Woods of the day. Tiger Woods still now if he's not injured. They work in these patterns of circular actions, okay? And the more circular that they work in, the better that they play, okay? So this is circular energy versus angles or straight lines and so forth. And that's the reason why we are different, and that's the reason why you should call us to start training and learn more about your downswing and how to create a circular wave energy, and then obviously what we call whipping energy, which is fudging. So it's circular to snapping, okay? Good luck with that.